Ahead and start recording. So this would be the lecture to watch if you wanted to go over sections, stairs, the floors, and possibly the roof, okay? Again, last week it was just a quick intro to get another quick intro if you were here the first night of class when you did the crash course. But I really think that this would be the one to watch because it will be slower, a little bit more thorough instead of go, 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 click here, click there, go, go, go. So we're going to start off tonight by doing some editing. I had mentioned last week that when I'm working in Revit, it's rare that I'm just always drawing walls. You know, I put the walls down once and then a few times after that, but for the most part, I am moving stuff, extending it, aligning it, doing the TR command. That's really the bulk of it. So let's meet on the first floor. And this is how we are going to start off class. So this particular client, it's not this particular client. Let's say that we are really happy with the way this floor plan turned out. And another client has approached us and they want us to design their house. So we are going to essentially recycle this plan, but we're going to name it a new plan. Okay, we're going to use kind of the same idea. So what we're going to do is let's go to File and then Save As. And let's call this one Revit Test 2.0, but don't leave just yet. While you're in this screen right here, do you guys see where it says Options? Okay, I want you guys to click on Options, and that's where I'm going to meet you guys. So again, we did File, Save As, and I'm calling it Revit Test 2.0. And then I'm going to click on Options. Okay, and I hope this helps you guys. Do you see right now the maximum backups is set at 20? Depending on how long we work on this file, we're going to have 20 backups within like a week. Let's change 20 to 2. And you guys can do that at home as well. And then go ahead and click on OK, and then Save. And then from this point on, I'm just going to click Open real quick. I want you guys to remember that Revit Test 2.0 and this file right here are always your main files. Whenever you have, let me spread this a little bit, whenever you have the .00, 1, 2, 3, I changed my backups last time, so it reduced them. These are the files I want you to open. Don't worry about your backups. Those are just there if your file does crash and it doesn't open. But other than that, just work on your main files. On my desktop, in my tiny house, where did it go? Let me come back this way. It could have been on my computer in the other lab. Oh, here we go. Do you see that my casita got up to 7 backups within just a couple days? And that's a lot of storage on your computer. So by limiting it to 2 or 3, that's a pretty good bet. I don't think you need to go back quite that far. Okay, so good. Now that we've got that out of the way, here's what I'd like to do. What I want to do is essentially extend this front room now. And before we do that, I'm going to teach you guys a little bit of a trick. See how right now I've got all these dimensions in my way and I don't necessarily need them right now and they're about to change? Let's delete them all, and I want you guys to kind of remember how to select everything at once and then just do a delete for me. I'm going to give you just... Sorry? I deleted mine for you. Can keep yours there. I deleted mine just because I accidentally moved it. But we're going to add 2 new sections a little bit later tonight. So, right. And just to do a quick review, to grab all of your dimensions, I click on one, right click, select all instances, invisible view, and then I hit delete. And I'll go ahead and just click on OK. What Revit is doing there, for example, on the windows and the door frames, we put equal or we measured things to it. It's saying, hey, the dimension is gone now. Can I just move it or unconstrain it from where it was? So by hitting OK, it kind of just gives Revit permission to move stuff around outside of the dimension that you constrained it to. Okay, so for this first part, what I'd like to do is we are going to grab essentially these walls right here, and this time we're going to use a reference plane. So I'm sorry, we're not going to grab yet. Let's grab this reference plane right here. And then once you have that drawn, I'm going to use the copy command, which I don't think we've used before in this class. So with editing, we're going to do copy, which is CO. And if you've taken AutoCAD before, this is familiar. If you haven't taken AutoCAD before, let's take it from the top. With all of my commands, you have to click on the object first, and then we're going to type in CO. And with copy and move, although they're different commands, they work the same. First, it wants you to essentially click on the object from where you want to move it. So imagine physically in person, if you're saying copy something, like if I wanted to copy my phone, pretend this hand is invisible, it's saying where do you want to copy it from? So that's your base point. So that means I'm copying it here, and then everywhere I copy it, I'm grabbing it from that point. Right now that doesn't really matter, but when you start moving like furniture and tables, you have to think about it a little bit more, especially in CAD. Not so much in Revit. But I'm going to copy it from this far right side, and let's say we're going to extend this front room by 10 feet. So I just did CO and then 10 in the downward direction. Okay. And then the other thing that we're going to do, so Deshina's, tonight is the night where I show you that I do like reference planes. So on this side, we're going to copy this over 5 feet. And let me slow that one down again. So the way that I copied it, I click on it first, CO, click on it, drag to the right, 5, enter. And please, at any time if I go too fast, just shout out, like, show me one more time, or can you do it slower? You guys have to remember that I've been doing Revit for quite a while now. And just like somebody who speaks a different language, when you're first learning a language, you tend to speak a little bit slower and it's harder to understand. Whereas if I'm fluent, I tend to speak faster, but I don't want to lose you guys. Okay. So we are going to edit this in 2 different ways. Let me make sure that this works before I make a fool out of myself, which I'm used to doing, so it's okay. Yeah, okay. So first we are going to align this wall. So we're going to align the outside wall to this point right here. I want, without a lot of instruction from me, I want you guys to try to go ahead and do that on your own and see if it works for you. Good, I'm seeing some nods. Okay. I'm hearing some giggles. Go ahead and take a peek at my screen, all right? And let's do it together. So remember, I want this outside face to line up with this right here. So first question, when I'm aligning, do I click on the reference point first or my wall? Yep, reference plane. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. So I do AL, click on my reference plane, and then after that, if I see this center line and not this line, what key should I hit on my keyboard to toggle? Tab. Good. And when I hit tab, you can, I'm just going to keep hitting it. You can see it kind of cycle through, and then I click and it should move it for you. When you're done, if you're done aligning, what should we hit on our keyboard to get out of align? Yep, escape. Good. Now this wall's a little bit different because see how we have 2 planes we want to move? So I want to extend this face 10 feet, but I want to bring everything with me proportionately. Does that make sense? So I'm not just extending this face, but essentially I want to grab this whole thing and move it down here. And we haven't done this before either. This is the move technique. Emily, did you have a question before we move on? Sure, let me undo. Okay, so hit escape wherever you are. So AL, click on the reference plane, and then hover over the wall and then hit tab. Click there and it should move right away. Did it work for you? Okay, escape one more time. Okay, AL, right? Is your cursor saying please select line or point? You're not doing AL enter, right? No. Okay, cool. So grab your reference plane, and now is it waiting for you to grab your wall? And then you should just be able to click and it should move it over. Okay. Hallelujah. Okay, so for this next one, here's another new editing command for you guys. So again, first we had copy, and now we're going to be doing move. Now remember, with both of these, base points, or where you select it, is pretty important. So I just told you guys that I want to move this wall, like this outside face of the wall here, and bring this along with it. So if I randomly clicked right here, does that help me at all? No. If I clicked here, does that help me? No. You want to click somewhere along this face so when you move it, you can align from here to here. So for this first part, why don't you guys watch me do it, and then we'll do it together, okay? So our first command is move, and that is MV. I lied, it's not MO. Come on, Lema. I'm not doing CAD. Sometimes I have found that there are multiple shortcuts in Revit. Let me type in MO to see if it still does it. No, it doesn't. Okay, so MV for move, there's no enter. And what I'm going to do is essentially just draw a box around these objects. I accidentally grabbed my stairs. So remember to deselect, what button am I holding to get that minus sign? Shift, good. And I'll take off the stairs. Maybe. Okay, good. Now the stairs are gone. The railing is still there. Good. Once I am done selecting, I can go ahead and hit enter, because I'm done selecting objects. See how this is a little bit different than copy? Felicia, this might be new for you if you haven't done AutoCAD. It's just a different procedure, okay? And now it wants to know, where do I want to pick up or move from? So I grab this point here, move it on down to there. Cannot move pinned element. Okay, let me try that one more time. I didn't notice that something was pinned. There we go. I'm not quite sure what I got that it wasn't letting me move. But now let's do that together. So a couple more steps here. So what's our shortcut? Yep, MV. And then we're going to essentially click on our screen and drag to grab this front face of the wall. And Revit will know to automatically connect the other stuff. Once we're done selecting the items we want to move, we want to hit enter. Because remember, Revit doesn't know, for like my last case, if we want to deselect the stair or add the stair. So it's just waiting for you to let it know that you're done selecting stuff. And then from there, you should be able to see that your base points are highlighting. So I'm going to go from this point straight down to my reference plane. And we should have another extension here. And then just to make sure that those concepts are sticking in, I'm going to give you guys two more things to do. And this one will kind of be on your own. So I want you guys to move this wall 5 feet. And you can decide if you're going to use align or move. And then I also want you guys to move this wall 3 feet. Okay, here's kind of a gold star question. I just copied this over 3 feet, but I can't see it. Do you guys know what the issue might be? Good, that's great. Yeah, my crop region. So if I turn off crop view, there it is. If I turn crop region visible back on, I can start changing these to show the addition that I'm doing. And start recording. Let me show you. Are you doing align?
It happened with both.
Okay. So if I do align, I'm going to grab this wall here and try to move this one. Maybe not. Let me do that again. There we go. So the warning it's giving you, do you see how it moved all of this stuff up? So in this case, what you might want to do instead, because when you align it, it might grab everything, I'm going to see if the move command will just move this wall. It still grabbed that one. What you can do now, I am going to, let me right click on this, sorry. You can do that rig where we pulled it out, but there is one other way of doing it. It's not drag wall end. I'm going to show you guys something called Disallow Join. Do you guys see that? Okay, so I'm going to go back before I moved it, and I'm going to tell Revit that since I know that's going to happen, I'm going to say Disallow Join. And I hope that what that's going to do, see how now it kind of broke this wall from the other two? Now instead of automatically joining all those elements together, I hope that it lets it move independently of one another.
So did you right click on that? Because I didn't get the option.
Yeah, let me pull it back up. So let me go back even further. So once this comes up, do you see that little blue dot?
Yeah.
Go ahead and right click on the blue dot.
Oh, okay.
And then you should go to Disallow Join. So something a little bit extra for tonight. This wall still kind of moved with it. And then can you guys tell me how I can fix this wall right here? There's a couple different ways. Which one do you think would be the best way of fixing this wall right here? I could do TR, I could do align. There's even an extend option that I rarely ever use, but I can show you guys how that works. What do you guys think? What would the problem with TR be if I used it? Yeah, so what it's going to do is it's going to trim off. Because it aligned, it worked out. I thought it was a little bit off, but typically, depending on how this was lined up, it would trim off some of basically where these two walls were connected. You could also just click on it and drag it up if you wanted to. Okay. And now I'm going to come back to this, and I did allow join to fix that corner once I moved my wall. Did you guys get those okay? So whenever you click on a wall, do you see this little blue dot that comes up, the drag wall end? Right click on that, and you can go to Disallow Join. Yeah. So this one right here? Say that one more time, Raquel.
Constraints are not satisfied.
Yep, so they used to be equal, but now they're not. It's just warning you that now it can't be equal because of how you move the wall. So if you click on OK, it should just move on from where you are.
I was going ahead and put, remove constraints or something.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Great. So now that we've extended these walls here, let's take a look at our 3D model. I'm going to spin this around a little bit. Now that we have more room in the front here, what I would like to do is extend the second level as well. Okay?
How far did you extend the
3 feet. Yep, sorry, that got buried. And on that note, do you guys want me to, what I'll do now is I'm gonna give kind of the second set of instructions, and you guys can choose to do this on your second floor plan, like this, or you can do it here in your 3D view. Either way works for me. But what I want to do is essentially take this wall and delete it, because what we're going to do is we are going to extend our first floor walls all the way up to the second floor. So I'm deleting this one as well. This is already a first floor wall. Okay. This one's a second floor wall. Right, so that's the first part of it. And then I want to see if you guys can remember how you can take these walls essentially up to the roof, so they become part of the second floor as well. Okay. I'll pause. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and catch up with you guys as best as I can. So with this, you don't need to redraw walls on the second floor. So I hope none of you guys are on the second floor redrawing walls on top of these. Because what you need to do is grab your first floor walls, and I'm even going to see if I can do this with a hovered tab click. Yep. And I know this is too many walls, but do you see how my top constraint is blank? Whenever you see something that's blank, it means that there's two different options here. That means that some of my walls are going all the way up to the roof, like these, and then some of them are just hanging out up until the second floor. But if I change all of these up to roof, they all should go up. Is this one up to roof? First floor. Let me grab this one. Is this the one that's, are these the two that aren't going up? So with these, when we created our floor, we probably clicked on attach the walls to the bottom of the floor. Do you guys remember that? So I'm going to see if I delete my floor. Yep, by deleting my floor, it brought my walls back up. Because since we answered last time we were in class, we told Revit, yep, take these walls and attach them to its bottom. As soon as we deleted those, it went ahead and took that constraint off. Okay, we're going to put in our floor back in anyway once we get our stairs drawn. But this was kind of the new shell that I wanted to start working with. Now that we've got our new shell and an updated second floor, are you guys ready to hop back into the first floor with me? Yeah? Okay. So now that we're back in the first floor, I'm going to come back to stairs. And I'm going to pretend like I never put in this stair right here. And I'm just going to grab them and delete them. And we're going to put in a few staircases just so we can look at some options and decide what's best. When I start, I'm going to start by just putting in that same L shape that we did. And then we'll also do a straight run. And then after that, you guys can kind of play and kind of decide what you think works best. So on that note, before I keep going with the stairs, does anybody else need a minute to send up their, or kind of catch up with where we are? Emily? Okay. footprint will be okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start my stair. And even though this is a pretty new menu to us, there will be lots of similarities in different items in Revit. So I hope you guys see that in your properties menu, similar to walls, when you guys pull down, you'll see that there's different types of stairs to pick from here. If you ever use the architectural template, your only two options are the monolithic stair and the precast stair. But here we have a few more options. Now, one thing you guys will notice about me quickly is I'm horrible at left and right. I'm almost always backwards. So what I always have to do, and I hope you guys will be better than me, I have to draw it first and then fix it. Like, for example, residential close two sides means that when you are walking up the steps, it is going to be closed or visible on both sides, so you want the stairs to be closed. You don't want to expose any of the structure. Does that make sense? If it's left open, it means that on the left side, that part of the stair is essentially open and exposed, so you want to finish that side of it. If it is open riser, it means that you want to have the risers be kind of open and floating without okay, now I'm voguing, so if you guys are at home, this won't make sense. But a typical stair is like this, right? An open riser means that that part is gone. So it's kind of a modern stair. And just like your walls, after you draw it, you can click on it and then toggle through these different types, which is what I have to do until I get it right. So the main thing that I'm going to focus on right now is to make sure I get an L-shaped stair. And instead of starting the stair right here at the corner, I'm actually going to hit escape a couple times and X out of here. I'm going to draw a reference plane that is, let's say, 2 feet back. So I don't want my stair to start right at the corner. I want a couple feet back from there. I don't know why. There's no like code or anything like that, but you don't always start right at the corner. And if you don't want to start at a particular point, you might just draw a reference plane like that. And so in my 3D view, I'm just going to tip it down a little bit so I can see in my space. And now I'm going to go back to my stair and get that started. So right here, by default, I am drawing a straight stair, and that's the most common stair. You can see that we can also do a full step spiral, or you can do a center end spiral. I'm not going to go over those, but while you're playing tonight, play with each one of them. They're really straightforward. I don't ever use the L-shape winder or the U-shape winder. The biggest difference between the straight, the L, and this U, you can still create an L and a U with this stair right here. But the big difference is that it's going to have a square landing. So for example, you're going to go up your stairs, and then you're going to have a landing, and then you're going to turn that way. There's your L. On the L-shaped winder, did you guys see in that tiny little preview that the stairs are actually turning at an angle? That's not really common in practice. Back in like the 50s and the 60s, if you go into an old, I live in Sugar House, pretty much all those houses have those stairs, and it's a good trip hazard. I've fallen down lots of those, so I typically don't use them. Sorry? It isn't. So by code, you can have them, and this is really, yeah, and every 12 steps. Yep. So let me hop in and just draw a straight run. So, another thing. So the width by default is 3 feet. So if you want to make it wider, like if you want to have a fancy staircase, like what people can afford in like Bluffdale where there's so much space, or Riverton, you might go up to like a 4 or 5 foot stair. So I'll do 4 feet here. And then remember, I'm always backwards with this. Run right. Okay, I got it that time. That means that your run is going to be, no, this, I can't describe it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm always backwards. You'll have to figure out your left and your right on your own. But do you guys see that as I'm drawing, it's kind of sketching it in? No, I don't want to run into that wall right there. That doesn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do is I need to stop short so that it can fill in an automatic landing for me. Okay, so I clicked to stop drawing. And then what I'm going to do here is using just hovering over these endpoints. In AutoCAD, this is called tracking. I find this endpoint and I start dragging down again so I can complete drawing my stairs. Now, it's definitely not perfect. See how these two are a little bit too close together? I can still grab this stair and kind of move it down a little bit. I know this kind of turns into an odd shaped landing. If you want it to be perfectly aligned, don't use the align command. I just tried, it didn't work. Let me do the move command. So I'm going to grab my stair, MV. Let's see if this will work. I'm going to move it from this corner to here. There we go. That worked. So again, these editing tools that we use at the beginning of class to move walls, you can also use some of them to edit your stairs. Now here's a big question. When I'm done, what button do I hit? Yep, the check mark. If you don't, you'll notice that when you go into the architecture menu or any other menu, most items will be grayed out. It wants you to finish what you're working on before you move on to something else. Okay, and then if yeah, of course. So I'm going to just delete that and start over. Okay. Let me do one other thing before I do the turn, okay? For this example, if I know that I want a 3-foot stair, so I'm trying to draw a reference plane here. Let me see if I can grab it. Nope, it's not. I'm going to draw it randomly and then I'm going to measure it out. If you know that you have a 3-foot wide stair, that lets you know that you have to have at least a 3-foot landing here. Are you guys with me with that? Okay, so by putting in a reference plane at 3 feet, this is just kind of a sketch line that lets me know don't go past this point because you need at least this much space for a landing. Got it? And it says it's complete? Like 0 left to draw?
Yeah.
What? That's so weird. I'll come take a peek. You do have a second, before you go any further, go look at your elevations and make sure you have a first floor, second floor, and roof. Do that for me. Okay. But let me hop back on to the floor plan. I'm going to draw this one more time and then Felicia will come help you. So I click on stair. And then on the width, I'm going to change this to 3 just because I made a 3-foot landing. Okay. I'm going to start 2 feet in. Okay. And then do you see that I barely make it to that point? I'm not going past it, so I'm not going to come here. That's too far. But I'm going to stop here so I get at least a 3-foot landing. Okay. And then after that, I'm going to use tracking. So I'm just hovering right now. And then when I pull my mouse over, see how I get that automatic dashed line? That's telling me where it's lined up. Now I click there and pull down and I can finish drawing my stairs. And then green check. Felicia, did that help at all or is it still being weird? You got it? Okay, good. So,
When I do it,
uh-huh.
maybe answer my question, but it's putting the stairs in the center of the wall.
Okay, so that has to do with your run. Let me undo it one more time. So when you're drawing your stair, see how mine says run right? I bet yours is run center. And you know, that's the one thing that I can't help you with because I'm awful at it. So you're really going to have to teach yourself that part. Okay. And really what I want you guys to do for the next maybe 5 minutes or so, do another L-shaped stair here in this like upper corner or do one here. Make sure you have the right landing size and then maybe in the middle of this space somewhere do a circular stair. Okay? Just kind of get used to that sketch mode. And then we will all probably come back and use this staircase to draw our floor. Okay? All right, I'm going to hop in now and I'm going to do another L-shaped stair down here. And then I'll probably throw in a couple circular stairs. I don't use circular stairs very much, so I don't want to spend too much time on them. And then I'll also do a straight run. A straight run should be pretty straightforward, I think, because you're essentially just drawing a straight line. So on that note, let me actually start with the straight run. So quick question for you guys. If I were to do the straight run, should I start drawing it here, like that? Why not? Yeah, you kind of have to hop into the wall and then start going up the stairs. So I'm going to close out of that, and similar to our last example, I'm going to throw in another reference plane, and really the dimension is up to you as the designer. It always has to be a minimum of 3 feet, but you could give more breathing room if you wanted to, and that lets me know what my start point is. So at a minimum, by code, 3 feet, but you can go further than that if you wanted to. Now I can click on stair, and you can see that when I do run right, it isn't correct. So I'm going to do run left. I'm just going to draw it straight down like that. Hit my check mark. And here in 3D, I'm going to show you guys the different stair properties, okay? So when I click on this, this is closed 2 sides. So you can see it has like a finished board right there. If I do left open, now the left side is open. Open 2 sides. You can't really see it. Let me do that one more time. It's really subtle, but you're going to see the board go away on this side. Do you see where I'm trying to point? So look at my cursor. So right here, you're going to see that it turns into a finished stair without a board going through. Do you see that board come back up? Okay. So open 2 sides essentially means it's going to be open and full view on both sides. This one isn't. And then let's do open riser. Can you guys see that now I've got the risers open? And with the handrails, you can even select the handrails and change these up a little bit. There's not a lot preloaded. I think there's one more. I'll just show you what they look like. There's a glass panel too. So there's a few options there to pick from. All right. So for this next stair, I want to make sure that I start my stair essentially where this window is. I'm not going to sweat this one too much. So again, I click on stair, and let me click to start. This is run right, and I can change it right here. I don't need to exit out. Now, right now I know I'm eyeballing it. I should draw that line, but I'm just going to assume that that's at least 3 feet, or at least hope. Again, I find that line to let me know that I'm aligned, and then I can go straight up with the rest of my stairs. So a lot of stairs in the house right now. This reminds me, what is that mansion in California? It's the gun company. What is that called? Yes, thank you. The Winchester Mansion. It's turning into something like that. We're just going to keep building stairs. Now, for this particular house, I had mentioned that these are the stairs we're going to keep. You don't have to delete these just yet, but it's important to know where your stairs are before you draw your floors so that you can cut your floors out. If you want, you can do it later, but for now, I'd like to know where those stairs are so I can build my floor around it. Are you guys ready to join me back on the second floor so we can fill in the actual floor so we can see the stairs connect? Okay. Then once we get the floor in, then we'll go ahead and do a section cut so we can see those things kind of come together. Okay, second floor. I hate to do this again to you guys, but what I'd like to see first is I want to see you guys try to draw a whole floor, again on the interior part of this wall, and just cut out the stairs for me. Okay? Give it a try, see if you can fill in the floor, and we're doing just the generic floor that it starts with, which I think is the 12-inch generic floor. Start with that, and in just a minute or so I'm going to come in and help guide you guys in case you get stuck. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and resume the recording. And wherever you are with the floor, you might be done, you might need some pointers, so at this point you can take a peek. But I am going to draw it in my second floor plan. So you can see I'm on second floor. And then when I click on floor, this sketching screen should look familiar. Properties should look familiar. Floor generic 12 inches, that's what we're gonna go with right now. And by default, mine is set to pick walls, which means that when I click on the walls, it's going to try to find where that floor should go. And that's actually working out pretty well. You could change it at any point, like you could grab this line sketcher and start sketching it out. Okay, or you can switch back to pick points automatically. And what I need to do right now, when I said pick walls, it grabbed this area too, but I actually want it to stop here. Oops, I grabbed the wrong thing. Let me delete that portion of it. Because really what I want to do is to go around the stairs like this. And then as soon as I have a closed loop like that, I can hit the green check mark. Lines cannot intersect each other. I'm going to hit continue. Oh, sorry, no, I want to do, let me try it one more time. I'm going to click on show. So I see how right here, when I did the automatic sketch, it overlapped. I can fix that with the TR. Or I can just drag that point either way. I'm going to click on show again. So look, so this automatic sketch didn't work out great for me. It didn't close that one either. And if I get another error, okay, good. I was just going to say I will redo it. I'm not going to tell you, but I'll give you a hint if you look at my screen real quick. Did you see it? Yeah. Okay. So in case you're wondering, it's under View and then far right User Interface. It happens.
But now everything is grayed out. I can't select.
So you're probably still drawing your stairs. Don't forget to do your green check mark. Yep. So I'm going to draw one more section line and then I'm going to pause and kind of hang out for a minute. But I'll know you're done when you guys have your section open for me. Let me start the lecture. So with sections, there's this quick button right there, or you can go to View and then Section, okay? And essentially I want to see the staircase here. So I'm gonna click and drag, and it puts in all of the graphics automatically. And to preview the section, you just double click on this head right there. You're welcome. So whenever you get a message that says that it can't close it, there are so many things that could be going on. Sorry, let me close. I'm in the wrong place. Okay, so I'm going to draw the floor. Now, the most basic thing that it's looking for, and I'm just going to do a quick sketch. Anything that you draw that's a closed loop is going to be a floor. But if you even go a hair over like that, it won't let you do it. Lines cannot intersect each other. There's so many things that could go wrong. So if you find that it keeps giving you errors, just quit sketching. Are you sure you want to discard? Yes. And what I would do is I would just start it over again, so that way you don't have to go back and find out what's overlapping, what's not closed, you know, what went too far. And when I drew my stairs, I'm sorry, why am I in stairs? Come on, Naima. When I was drawing my floor, I don't remember what I used, but I was going back and forth between pick lines and pick walls. And it did a pretty good job, but if you were having trouble with that, like for example on mine it missed 2 spots, you can just select this line method and trace around the edges of the walls where you want your floor to go. And then when I get to my stair, I don't want a floor to go above my stair. So you see how I'm tracing around it? That would be the next part. And there's going to be a floor here in these rooms. And I have to, see how I kind of overlapped right there on my sketch? I'm going to have to come back and fix that. So I'm just going to do a TR. Okay. And then I should be able to hit the green check. S and join. And then I have a floor. So Emily, try it one more time. Just try to sketch around it. Again, if it's giving you too much of a headache trying to find the overlap or the gap, I would say just move on from it. You guys, was everybody able to finish their floor? Raise your hands if you haven't yet. Okay? Okay. Do you need some troubleshooting?
I might.
Okay, so I don't know where you guys are with your floor. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. So Valerie, are you getting error codes?
No, it's just not.
Valerie, if you hit the green check button, what does it say?
Lines cannot intersect each other.
Okay, so you're having that issue where somewhere on your sketch something has gone wrong. So what I would do in your case is I would hit the red X, and it might say like delete floor, and you're just going to go ahead and say yes, or cancel floor, whatever it says. Let's cancel the floor. Okay, and I'm going to go through this one more time. Now this, I don't want you guys to overthink this part at all. This part should be relatively straightforward. There's just a couple key things. So look up here, since we seem to be having some trouble with it. So pretend that I'm drawing this perfectly, and I'm just going to do a square example. When you draw a floor in when you draw a floor in Revit, you have to imagine that wherever you start, you cannot pick up your pen and you cannot go back, and you have to stop exactly where you started, right? So when you're drawing, you can't go back like that and then go back and then go back again and then down and then stop drawing and then come over here. See how I have an overlap there? And then here, do you see how I have a gap? So here, overlap, overlap, and then gap. All 3 of those things are going to stop my floor from being created. It's so crazy that the darn thing will draw a wall in 3D for you, make a section of it, but it won't accept, you know, little mistakes like that. It's really just that particular. It wants to know exactly the shape of your floor. It also uses the same thing to do roofs. So the same errors that we're getting here we would get on our roofs as well as our ceilings. So this sketch mode applies to those three things. Once you know how to draw a floor, you're going to know how to draw a ceiling and a roof. It's really the same thing. So coming back over here, if you ever get an error, I can't do your sketch. They're intersecting, it doesn't form closed loops, whatever it is. If you hit the show button and you can automatically see, oh, it's just this gap, and you can easily fix it. Or, oh, it's an overlap, and you can easily fix it. Go ahead and fix it. And then if you hit the green check again and it's like, nope, there's still something wrong, at that point, hit the red X, because it's going to be faster to sketch around the whole thing than to try to figure out where those lines went askew, right? Okay, so let's try this one more time. And so with floor, I'm just going to click on it. It's mad at me because I'm in 3D. So floor, and go ahead and watch me run through it real quick, and then go ahead and try it on your own. So again, I'm going to use the line command, and I'm going to start from this corner, and basically at every point I'm just going to click and drag, and it's pretty straightforward until I get to the stair. So I'm going to stop it here because I want my whole stair to be open, and I'm zooming in so I can kind of see where the corner is. It's my old lady eyes. I'm zooming in again. There. Are you guys with me so far? Okay. So that's a closed loop. Again, I put my marker down like I did on the board. I started drawing. Let's pretend I didn't pick it up. But right now, hopefully nothing is overlapping. So if I hit this green check mark, yes, I want the walls to go up. And then it should draw it in there. I can see it pretty clearly in 3D. So why don't you guys try it one more time? Okay. And after you guys draw your floor, like I said, draw a section for me so that we can see that the stair actually does connect to your floor. It's kind of fun to see that. And then Jules, I'll answer your question about 3D views on the inside. I'm going to record that part. Okay, so now that we all have at least one stair and we have our floor completed, I also want to teach you guys how to edit your floor. Because just like your walls, not only will you be drawing in new walls and new floors, but you have to edit the ones that are already there, okay? And so to edit your floors, I'm going to close down some of these views. So I'm going to close my section. Second floor is still open. That's good. So right now, I'm going to show you guys how to select your floor. And in your floor plan view, it's really hard to do, but let's try it, and then I'm going to show you an easier way. So the only way to grab your floor in a floor plan is to come over to the edge of one of your exterior walls. So any of them. Do you guys see kind of where my cursor is? So just hover over a wall until it highlights, and then start hitting tab, chain of walls, tab one more time. Eventually it'll find your floors. So that wasn't too bad. It took me 2 clicks. So again, hover, wall, walls, floor. And then you click to select it. It's a pain. Take your cursor and hover over an exterior wall until it highlights. Hit tab once and it should grab walls. And then hit tab again or maybe again, and eventually it should get your floors. Raquel, I can see yours doing it. Oh yeah, mine found it on the edge of the staircase. Yeah, uh-huh. But case in point, sorry? Even if you have 2 floors, it will select one of them. So if you are, for example, so Raquel, look at my screen. So when I'm hovering over this, it says wall. when I tab and I wait a minute, do you see how it says chain of walls? If I hit tab again, it says floors. If I hit tab one more time, if I had another floor, it would say floor again. So it's going through all of the things that could be selected in that area. So if it says floors twice after you hit tab, yes, it means you have 2 floors. Now here is how I like to select my floor. I go into my 3D view where it's in plain sight, I click on it, and then I come back to my floor plan. That's how I like to do it. And I don't know why it drives some people crazy that I do it that way. They don't like that I go to another view and select something just to come back to another view to work on it. But I just think that that's easier than the hover, tab, click, whatever. Do whatever you're comfortable with. I just like to show you my shortcuts, and then in time you can make your own and show me how to do it. Okay. All right, so now that we've got our floor selected, do you guys see something on our screen that would help us make some changes to it? Good, edit boundary. So click on that, and then what did that do?
Shows our outline of the floor again.
Yeah, so now we're back to sketching the floor. So when we tell Revit we want to edit the floor, it brings us back to here because in order to edit it, we need to sketch it. Now Valerie, I didn't lose you, did I?
No, I'm good.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So here's what we're gonna do now. Do you see these 2 lines right here? 1, 2. We're gonna delete those, and then we're gonna trim these 2 together. So however you wanna get there, we're just gonna make this opening right here. I'll keep the screen open for a bit so you guys can kind of see, but when you're done, hit the green check mark, and then we'll go look at it again. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to give it the green check. Yes. So now, especially in 3D, you should have a larger opening. Yeah? All right. So this looks awesome. I like that the stairs are coming up here, but what's a little bit of a hazard here? There's no railing, right? Now, we're not even a month in and I'm like, figure it out, guys. What is on your screen that will let you draw a railing? A railing button, hooray! Click on the railing button and try to make a railing for me. I want you guys to try it for just a few seconds before I hop in. With the railing button, it looks familiar, right? You see the sketch lines. So the thing that's nice about this is that railings are straight, so I can essentially just come on the edge of that opening and draw my lines where I want it to go. And did you guys have chain on automatically or no? I've never seen it just turn off before. So this is a little bit weird for me. Let me back up. So when I first started drawing, I started here and I moved here. And then when I tried to draw my next line, see how it's not drawing anymore? I don't know why, but chain is off. I don't know if railing meant to do that, like if that's its default mode. But if you turn chain on, it'll allow you to essentially keep drawing. So this is the path that my rail is going to go on. It doesn't need to be closed. It's just my path. Now I'm going to hit finish and I'll see what it looks like. Right? Not bad. Let me go through some troubleshooting with you guys, okay? This isn't horrible. It's not excellent. If I wanted to change the profile of it, what could I do? What's my first step? Yeah, first I have to click on it, right? And then I can go to the properties, and just like my stair, there's the glass fill, and then there's the pipe railing. Are you guys able to see that pretty quickly? Okay. So here's one other thing that you guys might think is a little bit weird, but do you see how this is kind of coming over the edge of where I drew it? It's a little bit awkward. That should be a pretty easy fix. So for this next part, take a look at my screen. I deleted that, by the way. I just hit delete. Take a look at my screen. It's a really simple fix. It's the first time that we'll be using this. So I'm going to click on railing in the second floor plan. And do you guys see that there's an offset option right here? Okay. In AutoCAD, what does offset mean? Yeah, it means like draw it away from something. So by turning on offset, if I do a 2-inch offset, it means that wherever I draw this line, offset it 2 inches. So do you see where I clicked versus where it's drawing it? Okay, chain is still on. Hopefully it'll fix that corner. If not, I'll fix it my darn self. Okay, and remember, just like drawing your walls, if it's drawing it on the wrong side, use your space bar to flip it. Yay, it fixed my corners. Okay, and now green check. Now I think it looks more like a railing that you'd see in a house. It's kind of offset from the edge. Now go ahead and try that on your own, see how it works. So I'm looking at the homework and we've got a couple more things that we need to go over. One of them I think is really straightforward. It's just how to add tags to a plan. And I'm wondering why I have it already, since we haven't gone over annotation yet, but whatever. It's here on the list, so I'm going to go over it instead of pushing it off. It's pretty simple to do, and it gets us started on annotation. And then after that, we're going to sketch another quick roof. And again, if you did the crash course to this class, you should feel pretty comfortable with it. So let me start by going back to the first floor where we've got some windows and doors. And I want to show you guys how to add the tags to this. And right now, it might not seem that cool, but once we start doing schedules, you'll see how helpful it is. So really switching gears right now, if I go to annotate, there's 2 buttons that we're going to be working with. The first is tag by category and the other one is tag all. Now they really are the same thing, except that tag by category means that everything I hover over, as long as I click on it, will get a tag. Do you see that it's giving me some previews? Like this will be a 2, this will be a 58, 3, 4. Do you guys see that? I don't like that by default leader is on. Do you guys see how leader is selected? So that's why that little line is there. Leader should really only be on if there's not room for it. And all of these really do have room for my tags. Okay, so I would say change the default and turn off leader. And I'm just going to click on a couple of these. Pretty straightforward, right? Now, usually when we go and tag something, it's really easy to just tag the whole plan. So if I click on tag all, you can see that here I can click on door tags because we have doors. And then I don't want wall tags yet, but I do want window tags. So door and window. And then leader is off. Do you guys see how leader is off down here at the bottom? If I click on OK, it goes through and it tags everything for me. Remember those disappearing windows? It at least tagged them for me so I can see them on the plan. Right? So again, this is a great way of adding the annotation to your plans really quickly. If a window tag ends up on the inside, it just means that it was put in backwards. Now some of these are so subtle that even I have a hard time seeing where it was put in. So I'm just going to quickly flip those 2 windows and then I'll re-tag them. And tag, the shortcut is TG, by the way. I rarely use the shortcut only because almost always I'm doing a tag all. And I don't know if that has a shortcut. It doesn't. Okay, so I'll show you that one more time. If you want to tag everything at once, it's tag all. You select what you want to tag, so door tags and window tags. And then again, just because I'm picky, turn off leader so you don't get that extra little line. Did that work for you guys? Was it pretty straightforward? Phew. Good. And that's really all we're going to do right now with window and door tags. Later on in the semester, we're going to go over schedules, and I'll show you where you can actually put them on a sheet and work with them a little bit more. Now, the last thing that I want to do tonight, we have great timing tonight, is I want to go up to the roof plan, and I'd like to sketch a roof. So I'm going to close out first floor and second floor. I still want to be in 3D, that's fine. So if you wouldn't mind, wrap up where you are and meet me on the roof plan. And when you're there, help me troubleshoot. Does your roof plan look like my roof plan? Okay. So right now it's going to be a little tricky to draw it, correct? Do you guys remember what I can do here to help me sketch my roof? Underlay. Good. So if I come over to my view properties and we scroll down, right before extents, which we use quite a bit, there's underlay. And see how right now my roof level, the base level is none? If we change that to the second floor, which is the floor right below us, now we have kind of a ghosted view of the floor below for us to draw our roof. Now, the roof that we're going to be drawing tonight is almost the exact roof that you guys will be drawing for your modern house plan. So over the weekend, what I want you guys to do is pretty much the same thing that we've done in class. So your assignment this week will be to add a floor to your plan, add a roof plan, throw in your tags, draw some building sections, and then throw in some 3D views. So Jules, I'm gonna get to your question. It was really on the agenda tonight, so we'll get there. But for this roof, because it's just the introduction to roofs, let me draw a section of the roof that we're about to draw. So if you look at those roofs over there, that's not the roof where we're drawing, where we have an overhang. An overhang is where we have our building and then the roof overhangs from it. Right? If you look at a sketch of our modern house and even the house that we're working on right now, if you were to look at a wall section of this is my exterior wall, this is the ground. Our roof is actually going to be, here's my cut line, that's where our roof is going to be. And then we've got our 12-inch floor there, and then eventually we're going to add a 4-inch floor slab right here. Okay, we haven't gotten there yet, but on your modern house, it's 1 story, right? So the only place to add a floor is this 4-inch slab on the inside of the building. So what's a little bit unique about where the roof is versus where the top of my wall is? You see that the walls are kind of reaching above that, okay? So not only are we going to draw a roof, but we're going to make one more edit while we're in there. Now, if you guys were here for the first night of class, we did that Revit crash course and we looked at roofs a little bit more. We're going to look at even less tonight. We're going to do the most simple roof possible, and then we're going to have another class that just kind of goes over roofs, their different shapes and things like that, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more then. So if you guys wouldn't mind taking a look at my screen, I'm going to draw the roof first and then we'll do it together. So first thing when I'm here, what should I click on? Roof, right. Pretty straightforward. And then what looks familiar here? Yep, I'm back in sketch mode. Now because I'm not doing an overhang, right? I don't need to have overhang on, 0. And then I'm also, do I have a slope on this roof? It's a flat roof, so I can turn that off too. So define slope is gone, overhang is gone. I'm going to grab my line and I'm going to draw it to the inside of these walls because remember, these walls are going to come above my roof line. Okay. Now that I'm done, what should I hit? Green check, good. And if we're taking a look at 3D, when I do my green check mark, woohoo, there's my roof, right? So pretty straightforward, I think. I'm gonna delete it and let's do it again together. We had a little bit of a tricky time drawing the floors. Hopefully we learned from our floors, so drawing the roof will be easy. Just like last time, I am going to start it with you guys. Okay, I'm not going to say go off and do it on your own just yet. But before I start sketching, what things do I need to change over here? Yep, turn off define slope and make your overhang 0. And then from there, you should just be able to sketch around the inside perimeter of your exterior walls. Once you have your sketch done, what's the last thing you need to hit? Yep, green check to get out of edit mode or sketch mode. I haven't heard any bling bling, so it sounds like it's working, hopefully. Hopefully you guys should have a roof. And this is where our section starts to get a little more interesting, because now we've got our walls, we've got a floor, and on top of it we have a roof as well. Everything okay back there, Caitlin?
There's a fan in one of the computer.
I think I hear is like, is it here? It sounds like it's coming from out there. Really? Huh. Deshina, does it sound like it's coming from the hallway to you?
I just know it's over here somewhere.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I hear it too. There's so many weird creaky things in this building that I'm just used to it. Was it last class that we were laughing at the TV? Not this class? Okay. So when my son comes to visit, he looks at the TV in the corner and he's like, this is the technology building, huh? And he's only 7, so TV is whirring, you know. What do we do? Well, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Everybody have a roof? Yeah? Emily, you good? Okay, great. So now that we have our roof, I want to show you guys how to extend your walls and create what's essentially called a parapet. So this point right here, when your walls extend past your roof, that's called a parapet. Okay? Whoa. Parapet. Sorry, guys. So right now, our roof level is at 20 feet, right? That's where it drew it. And what I want to do, I want our parapet, I want it to kind of be almost like a guardrail, right? So if we're up there having a roof party, let's put that at 40 inches above, and 40 inches is 3 feet 6 inches, right? Wait, I can't think right now. 3 feet 4 inches, thank you. Oh, how I wish we were metric. That would be so much easier. Okay, we're gonna go 3 feet 4 inches above. Now I'm gonna check my math real quick, and I'm gonna do that in the form of a reference plane. So in my section, yeah, Emily?
I'm trying to find my sections.
So did you already draw them on your floor plan? If you haven't drawn them, you won't see them. So I drew mine first. See my section right here? And then once they're drawn, you just double click on the black arrow. Shortcut to draw, section button here, or view and then section here too. Got it? Okay, so I'm gonna hang out in section, and I'm just gonna do a quick DI. And really the measurement that I'm looking for is this one right here. So when people are up on the roof, I've got 3 foot 4 inches there. So really my offset is not 3 foot 4. I have to bring it that 12 inches up first, right? To go past my roof. Alright, I want to do this in 3D. We can do it in any view. So take a look at my screen. I'm going to show you guys the last step to get the parapet. Are you guys ready for this? Hopefully not that exciting, but so you would select all of your walls like I just did. And do you guys see that under my wall properties there is a top offset? That's what we're looking for. So my top offset now is going to be 4 feet 4 inches, because first I have to get it up past my floor, which is a foot itself, and then 3 feet 4 inches past that. And I'm going to hit apply, and there we go. I took it up. Do you guys want me to show you that one more time? Okay. So first I'm going to grab all my walls. So hover, tab, click. That did not work. Hover, tab, click. That time it did. And then from here, in my properties, do you guys see where it says top offset? That's what I'm looking for. So my top offset will be 4 feet 4 inches past the roof. And see how it took it up? So the reason why it's 4 feet 4 is first it has to come 12 inches up to get past this roof level, and then the additional 3 foot 4 that I need for my parapet / guardrail up there. And that's what we've got. So tonight was another big night. You know, we kind of saw what we were getting into, but essentially in one class we covered stairs, roofs, sections, and floors. And really just simple roofs. I want to throw in roofs with all of this other stuff just so you guys see the concept of them. So it's not just the section of roofs I want you to get comfortable with, but the concept of sketching and then editing boundaries, like once you're done with those. So this is what we're going to be going over tonight. I'm not going to throw in anything else. For your homework again, it's continuing working on the 2-bedroom house, okay? So not the little casita, but the 2-bedroom. And again, what I'll be looking for is window and door tags. I want to make sure that you guys put a roof on it, exactly like we did tonight. Make sure that you guys also do a section views of it. So cut at least 2 section views for me. And then you'll also see that I'm asking for 2 3D views. So everybody knows how to do a generic 3D view, right? But what I also want to show you guys is how to do a camera view, and you can place a camera view inside or outside of a building. Meet me on the first floor. Let's say now that we've got a lid on our building, we can't see our stairs anymore, right? Like, that's gone. But if you still wanted to see what your stairs look like, let me show you guys how to do that. So up here in your 3D view, if you use your little pull down, and just to let you know, the same thing lives under the view menu, okay? So you can go to either one. Now take a look at my screen. I'm just going to explain how it works. There is something called a camera, and there's a few clicks. The first click is where you're standing in the room. So imagine you're standing in the room right here, first click. Your second click is where you're pointing your camera. So if you want to see these stairs, don't point here, point to the stairs. And then your last click, like where you actually place, is your view depth. So if I only click here, I'm going to miss my stairs. So even if you click past the stairs, it will still get your stairs. It's not like a 3D wireframe view like that. It's not going to go, it's an X-ray view, but it will just make sure it goes past those walls. And then you can kind of come and change the crop view if you want to see more. This is a little bit trickier to do in this view, but you can still do, you know, the orbital zooming like you can in regular 3D. But let's do that one more time. Do you guys want to see it again? Okay, so I'm going to go the big buttons. 3D view, you pull down and go to camera. Or here, there's this little tiny triangle, camera. First click is where you're standing in the room. So I'm going to go as far back as I can to see the most. I click to place the camera. And then my second click is my view depth. So again, just make sure you get past your stairs. And then essentially where your head is turned or where your camera is turned. And I kind of want it right in the center of the staircase. And then as soon as you click, it kicks you out to that 3D view. You can even use your 3D scroll wheel here if that's a little bit easier. Mine actually kicked me outside. This is like the total creeper view right here, standing outside the window looking in. Okay. And what you'll see if you look at my screen down here, do you see that 3D view 2 is highlighted? It's really hard to know the difference between 3D view 1 and 3D view 2. So I can always right click and rename this. I can do this 3D stairs. And if I don't like 3D view 1, I can delete it by right clicking as well. Any questions about any of the things that we talked about tonight? Sections, stairs, floors, roofs? Brooke?
On my house 3D view, I can see like the ghost lines inside.
Yeah?
So whereas on yours it's
So,
solid.
so what I would watch out for there, I'm going to put in one more camera. Make sure that when you put in your camera, you go all the way. See how mine is now white? Do you know what I mean? Is that what you mean?
No, it's in the, so not in the 3D view we just did, but
Oh,
it's
sorry.
in the overall house.
Oh yeah, this one right here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can see into it.
Ah, okay, so if you can see into it there, do you see this little box down here? It's like the 3D box. If you click on that and you go to something called Wireframe, it turns it into a wireframe of the house. I don't know if that's what you're in. Did that make it worse? Or is it the same?
Oh, I'm doing the wrong one.
By default, it should be on hidden line.
Oh, I'm doing it on the wrong thing.
The shaded looks great from here, just FYI. So if you guys want to see, we can get into 3D rendering real quick. If you guys click on realistic in your view, it takes a minute. Oh, that does not look realistic. Let me go to ray trace. It takes just a minute, but you can start getting previews of what this would look like in 3D. So it's kind of fun. Again, we're 3 weeks in, and we essentially have a whole house with real architectural components. And Brooke may still have something in 3D. Did it work?